If you're really serious about the crypto market and you want to know whether this is going to go up, keep your eyes open for this light which is flashing, because this is the macro indicators which is showing you that it's a high probability that a big ultimate bull run is here. We are just going to start that. So you may ask like, okay, can this be one off? We can look back and say like, okay, most likely this is aligning with the last one. You can even zoom out and say like, okay, it does look like it is aligning with a lot in the history. So you can look at it in different perspective and you still come up with the same outcome. So whatever equation you're trying to do and you're still getting one answer, mostly that is true or close to the truth. If that is the case, that means you really don't want to miss what is coming ahead, because this is showing you something serious is going to happen in next 3-4 months, because that's the time frame we have seen here in the history, and it's not once, it is repeating again and again and again. So this time you can either say history repeats or rhymes, or you can say this time it's different. But in both cases, you really don't want to miss the huge bull market which is to follow after this particular move in dollar. Now, we will slow down, break these down, right? This one actually shows you clear indication, just one area to understand, like one bottom, one top, another bottom, kind of a cycle. So here at the top, if you are noticing, this top was kind of a bottom for crypto. And when the dollar was going down, crypto went up. When dollar went up, crypto came down. So remember, these dates are something really interesting, right? March 2020. We know what happened in the crypto market. That kind of capitulated. But as dollar peaked here, so you see the opposite movement there. It's clear. Then you come to look at like, okay, where was the top for most of our coins? That was like May, June 2021. And dollar completed its run there and it started moving up. So if you zoom in on this part, which is the top area, we want to see like what's happening there. And we actually see like, okay, it is actually creating a touch and run kind of pattern where usually it breaks to the downside. Fine. So now we zoom out a little bit and see like, okay, how high we have moved in dollar till now. It's like close to 29%. So we want to know like, okay, historically, when it actually moves higher with a lot of momentum like this, how high it actually goes. And we see like, okay, 27% was last time. And then we zoom out even more and see like, okay, something similar has happened before, which was 27%. So you were coming down all the way back down from a corrective long trend. You made a bottom and bounced 27%. So you had a long-term correction, you bounced here. But this one was like 18%. So in between, you get that 16-17% on average, and then you do a 27-28% average. And right now, you're just close to that level. So if you now think like, okay, that's just descriptive statistics, can I just see a clear trend? And that's what this is. You made a top here, then the next one, you touch that, it's like, okay, the trend line is being validated. But again, you tested it again, failed. Retested it, failed. You went down, and right now you are testing that line again. So chances are high that dollar fails here and dollar starts to correct back down. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go down to 94. I don't think so. Maybe it's a good chance, but first 100. That's going to be a good range. And if dollar does that, that really means crypto is going to run higher. So what we have to do next is to look at crypto. This is a scientific investor family, where the normal, common retail guys learn how to become the world's next top 10%. So when you look at crypto, there are different stuffs which are interesting. I was getting a lot of different questions regarding, whether we are seeing different types of Wyckoff accumulation, re-accumulation. What do you think? Fine. So now it's not what I think. I'll take you to what is a Wyckoff phase. Now you have different approaches within Wyckoff, where you get a spring, which is one, and then another one where you don't get a spring. Whereas here you get a rounded bottom, which slowly goes back up and creates that BU or LPS, which is like the last point of support. So you go down here and you can actually literally see this. BU is back up, then LPS is last point of support. So you actually got these stuff there. So now you look at XRP price and you see like, okay, what are the chances that these two look somewhat similar? What are the odds that this actually suggests that, okay, we broke this particular level and this is like the last point of support and you are trying to go higher. So sign of strength is here where you make a new high above the previous one. You go look at this. This was the previous level and it showed the sign of strength here and then blasted through. Next important factor there is you consolidated there before the next phase, which is a new trend where you are going back to the upside. So now you go down here in phase E to look at like what happens after that. The stock here for us, XRP, leaves the TR and demand is in full control, which means the buyers are in full control and the markup is obvious to everyone. So at this point, if that is the history with this particular pattern, saying I'm not for that may not be the right thing. Now it's completely your opinion, it's your money, but this is typically what happens, right? So now setbacks such as shakeouts and more typical reactions are usually short-lived. So whenever you see something like that, don't just jump on that bandwagon. New higher level comprising both profit taking and acquisition of additional units by large operator can occur at any point in phase E. So now you look at this, you went up, now people are taking profits and big guys actually buying more. To get more clarity, you just zoom a little bit in and you ask the question like, okay, what do you actually see happening in the price? So for me, I would say like, okay, that is what's happening here. And to get a bit more clarity here on what is happening there, you can zoom and say a 2-hour chart. Now that's too volatile, but if you really want to look at what's happening there, we literally have to go down that route. So this is your level of support and this is what you're doing. So if you break this one to the downside, yeah, you can come down to 0.44. I completely agree on that point because you broke this one, and when you broke this one, you had a long bullish shaved candle. Usually that's the sign of strength. Now we come all the way back down on a daily chart to see like, okay, what the hell is happening here, right? And at this level of resistance, which the previous support turned a resistance here, when you broke that one, you had 2 long candles. Then you had a small range of consolidation, which again was followed up with bullish candles. Now, whatever the news cycle is, it is also right now aligning with the price cycle. So that definitely is something good. And when we went up, when we were here, so that's like 23rd of this month, 24th of this month, when we were there at the top, even 25th of this month, like 5 days back, go check our videos. We were literally talking about 1 point what? Moving average is going to come up when the price is staying here, and most likely historically, price goes down, moving average comes up, they meet some way. And that's when you bounce in an uptrend. So if it is an uptrend, which is a valid stuff, you bounce from this. So right now, the price actually touched somewhere close to 0.419. Okay, we told 0.42, but again, that's somewhere close. Now, the moving average at that time was 0.4. Right now, the moving average is near 0.42. So if you drop again, I think 0.42 can be a huge support. Now, am I saying like, okay, we are going to drop all the way back down? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But for me, I would say like, okay, this can be a possibility here on a daily, where if I go deep on a 12-hour chart to see the total volatility, I would actually put it like this, right? So you are inside this particular move. Fine. So if you take into account of all these price fluctuations, you get to see a bull flag where your momentum is again to the upside, and after that you consolidate down, you work your way back down, which means people are taking profits and new guys are coming back in. But at one point, this is really interesting, if you are interested in technical analysis, you get this particular price action. What is that? That's an engulfing candle, bullish engulfing candle, which was then followed by a continuation pattern, 3 candle continuation pattern here. Great. So right now, when you slow down on a 12-hour chart, there is obviously a possibility of this type of correction and then bounce. So here, your moving average right now on a 12-hour chart is here, 0.46. So going to 0.46 is a huge possibility. Then you zoom in to see like, okay, how volatile it can be. So on a 4-hour, your moving average is here, close to 0.45. So to maintain that trend, you still need to keep this one as your lower low and put in another low, which is higher low. So you try to draw a trend line of possibility and you can say like, okay, most likely maybe 0.44. That's a huge possibility. Fine. Now, why is that? Because at that same time, you see a retest of this level. When you are coming all the way back down to 0.44, it does show you like 2 support. Remember, when you went up, you broke through this level. Now you're coming back as a retest. And if you look at this in a way like, okay, you are trying to connect this, you can see like, okay, this was a resistance, a previous support, which was turning into a resistance here. The retest actually failed, but then you broke that one to the upside. So now when you are on XRP, if you go on a macro, which is a weekly level, you see like there is a lot of volatility happening. People are pushing the price down or people are taking profits, but someone else is coming and buying that one up. So after you get a big move like this on a macro, this is your support, next support. So you need to actually see the price going up, coming a little bit back down and then bouncing. That's a huge healthy correction in the market. Now, crypto market is obviously like that. Now, if you want to get a comparison for that, you can look like, okay, zoomed in view and you see like, okay, there is some patterns evolving and you want to see them breaking higher. Now, if it's breaking higher, then you want to see a retest and bounce. So different time frames, you are looking at this and saying like, okay, there is a huge possibility this can continue up, but getting a healthy correction is much better. The weak hands actually move out from the market. So you now look at this in a various different ways. Say here in the RSI, you can actually argue that we had a trend. We broke that one to the upside. Now we are coming back down. So bounce from here gives you the ability to say that we are continuing. One reason is that pattern. Second one, you can take a horizontal ray and drop it here to say like, okay, this is a previous support. So if you maintain a bounce from this level, that gives you a more certainty that the previous level of resistance here, say this one, and this one, when you connect those, it turns into a support range here. Great. And when you connect those support range, you get to see something else on a short term. What is that? You actually see a inverse head and shoulder pattern forming in the RSI, which actually broke to the upside. So now the question becomes like, okay, inside the RSI, how high can you actually go? So literally the price can move 92% in strength. There's the index, right? So that takes you somewhere close to here, 102. Now you zoom out to see when was the last time where you actually reached that level of 102 in the strength index. So we came close to that before, 96, but on a 12-hour chart, you can't see a scenario where we hit that. Then we go on a 3-day chart and we see, okay, there was scenarios here where we hit those top. Great. Now keep that particular top in your mind, this one, which is your measured move in RSI, and go look at what the price action was back then. It is really interesting because at that time, this is what happened, which was the massive blast of wave 2. So if you agree with what's happening there, I'll appreciate you hitting that like button. And if you're looking for something similar in different assets and the understanding of the market on the correct time, when people say sell, I think it's gonna drop, or someone else is giving you that little opinion that this is going to $10,000. If you want logical reasoning for any asset in your portfolio, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below where you get the maximum value. And now it's the end of the month. I'll say wait another day and jump on next month if you wish to. Now, if you're an XRP holder, you don't have any other assets, then you don't have to do that. What you are looking at is entire breakdown of XRP here, and similar stuff for your portfolio will be done there. Now, coming back onto the XRP BTC pair to look at like, okay, where the volume is coming and what's happening here. We also understand now what we discussed about XRP USD is true in my opinion. And then when we are looking at XRP BTC pair, this is what we are seeing. So right now, if you actually ask that question to yourself, like, okay, if this is around a bottom pattern showing that the price is going up. Now, literally, when we were making this pattern here, we talked about this. A possibility of price going up, and what was the measured move? Remember that. This was your measured move of 48% after the break. You broke this pattern here, and the 48% came somewhere close here. But yeah, the price went even higher than that, but came and closed that candle somewhere close here. So this is one of the reasons why I say whether it's USD pair, whether it's Bitcoin pair or the RSI, look at what the price action suggests. Because most likely it can go close to that, above that, below that, but close to that range because that's price history. Patterns are something which you learn from the history of price. Now, this is a daily, great. You go on a monthly and you're looking like, okay, what is happening? So here on a monthly, you get a change happening. Now, what is that change? This November 2020 top in your RSI on a monthly, I repeat, on a monthly, was a level of resistance in RSI for a very long period. Now you go in, zoom in, and you can actually see like, okay, this range was a strong level of resistance. But right now you broke that and you are above that. This is a monthly version, right? So to put that into perspective, you take this here. When you broke this level, something started. So to get an idea, this is monthly chart. So you're just selecting this area and this range. Great. Now you go on a weekly, 3-day, wherever in the charts you want to go to see like where that was and follow up the price action. So now you zoom in, you go ultra zoomed in as zoom as you can and check like where did the price actually break higher and where was the RSI doing that. So here you can see the RSI just broke higher with this candle, and that candle was not the sky high big candle, or it did not even make a higher high coming here. It was still a lower high if you compare this swing high. But if you look at the previous swing high, it was making a higher high. Great. So now we actually come back to see actually what really happened after that. We know that was a great time. Those who bought in enjoyed a lot. Now, you come back here and look at the same stuff. You got one candle like this particular move here, and you see that the RSI broke higher. So the RSI actually gave you that indication that this is going to skyrocket. You want to join? You can. Otherwise, it's okay. Stay out. Great. But what followed here is something similar to what you just saw in the history. Great. So what are you looking at? You erased this top. You erased this top. Now, that is kind of saying like, okay, you just went through historical level, breaking or erasing like a year of price action. So to be precise, you kind of went all the way up to like 420 days of price action was kind of erased just with that move. Now, what does that actually mean? You can literally zoom out and see one thing. Price usually gives you a historical pattern, which gives you a measured move. So if you think like, okay, this is something, if this is something, then you are looking at this breakout and saying like, okay, I personally think that the history may rhyme here and the measured move can be a 6.5x after the breakout. So you plot that one and that's not something small actually, because when you put that into Bitcoin terms and say we are going all the way till here, now the question is, okay, where was the price at that time with respect to Bitcoin, because at that time, Bitcoin was not at $20,000. Right? This time it was. It was close to that. So next time when you're coming up there, Bitcoin is again going to be higher. Small things. It's not something rocket science, right? And you are going to see this match up here. So match up in the price action here means XRP should be way higher than what it was last time. Now, these are all clear indications from the price action, which actually shows you what happens after that is obvious. But the issue is common sense is never the common practice. And that's the hard part. And those who try to be having that kind of a thought process will be hammered for sure. But that's okay, because the market usually takes its time before it proves what it does. Because at the end of the day, it's the market who decides what it want to do. If it's going to retest this range and go down, okay, I'm wrong. But if it's actually, doing this bounce after this breakout, retest and bounce, okay, I'm all for it. Like, this is what we all want. We've been waiting here for a long time, an extended period of time, but we also understand that the price action during this time was not bearish. You went up, you corrected lower, someone need to take profit, right? And those ether guys, they need to short. So automatically this happens. And then you have the possibility of a move to the upside. So if we are all here in next 3 months, in next 6 months, we will see what the price is actually showing you, because whatever we have talked about is mainly with the consideration to the price history of dollar, crypto as a general market, not just one asset, and then XRP and what it has done in the past. Now, I would literally like to actually take you guys through all this I've actually kept to discuss, but I think, maybe next time I'll actually retweet all of these so you actually know what's happening behind the screen. Because I think the explanation has been has taken a lot more time than I expected. So guys, if you are still here, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want updates for your portfolio, look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.